China exports more than 4 million tonnes of waste every year, with a significant increase in the amount of materials being shipped overseas in the past decade. Now, the main destination for our unwanted paper, plastics and metal is China.
But all that is set to change, with China signalling a cap on these products by the end of the year amid concerns about environmental impacts. The move is prompting warnings of a global crisis. To talk us through how individuals and companies can better manage our recycling is Trish Hyde, the director of Plasticity Sydney, a forum aimed at developing practical solutions to reuse plastic. Trish Hyde, wonderful to have you with us. Thank you very much. Now, as soon as I saw that this process is being rolled out in China in terms of stopping the import of these sorts of products, in particular plastics, obviously, there's been talk that it has the potential for a global crisis. How well placed do you think Australia is to cope with those waste products not being able to be sent away to places like China?
Yes. Well, globally, 90% of plastic doesn't get recycled at all. So those countries that rely on China as an export market, and that is the main export market, will see the repercussions.
Hang on. Let me stop you right there. 90%
yes.
is not recycled. Yeah. Are we being fooled?
In Australia, it's a little bit better than that. We actually do have better recycling.
But like the curbside recycling of the plastics, I guess the assumption is it's been recycled, but you're saying a lot of it goes to landfill.
There's two important points here. There's recyclable and what actually can be recycled through to an end life. So that's actually part of the conference, is finding new end markets for the materials. It's a really complex situation. Something may technically be able to be recycled, but you actually have to have someone who wants to buy it at the other end and make something. So that's what the conference is all about.
So, as I was saying, with the way that this is shaping up now, with China saying no, we no longer want to take that, then what does that mean for Australia, for instance, where we're looking at more than 4 million tonnes a year?
Yes. So our current recovery rate is about 15%, and half of that goes to China. So what it means is we now have a larger amount to work out what to do with. There will be new export markets that develop. Thailand and Vietnam are being proposed as new export markets, but they need to build their infrastructure. So this is actually a good time to reflect and say, well, do we want to export or do we want to actually value add? Turn waste into a resource.
So does Australia actually have the capacity to recycle all of its own produced plastic, or are you saying it's more about the market of the end result of where that plastic goes?
Yes, you can recycle and you can do the best efforts, and there can be materials that you collect, but unless there's someone who wants to buy them and use them, you've actually just gone through a very long process. Take the simple coffee cup.
Yep.
The simple coffee cup, technically you can recycle it if someone wants to buy it. It's a combination of plastic and fibre. There's a company in the UK that has technology now that can take that and make a building material. But you've got to have those markets.
And those plastics, such as, let's take the plastic water bottle. What if that's recycled, what does it end up as?
It can end up as another bottle.
Yep.
So there are some plastics that are very easily recycled, and they're the ones that are of higher value. Then there are others. I mean, there's estimated to be over 40,000 different combinations of plastics, and that can be multi-layered plastics so that we get extended shelf life on our meat, which is a great value, so that you can actually not waste something that would normally go off in 3 days. So, we need these plastics. They're important. We have contact lenses. We have car parts. Everything uses plastic. But what we need to do is then work out, well, which ones can we recycle and what can we do with them? Now, there is an interesting challenge to consider, and there's a waste hierarchy. Reuse, then getting down to, well, recycling, and can I up-value that? Or, before you send it to landfill, can I make energy out of it? So they're the things that we can be considering about our own waste. And back to your question, we have a lot of plastic waste that we could look at, and there are some very inventive companies doing that.
So there are very inventive companies.
Yes.
So what exactly and how well placed is Australia in terms of the development of those sorts of companies and ideas and strategies? I mean, I imagine that you mentioned the company in the United Kingdom that already is able to process certain plastics that we can't here. So does Australia really need to lift its weight here?
I think there's an opportunity for us to be inventive and to actually show the rest of Southeast Asia how it can be done. And we've got the smarts and we've got the science. We need the investment, and we need people to think of it as a business and a resource, not as waste. When you talk about waste, you think it's no value. There's an eyewear company that is inventing ways to reuse plastics into glasses. There are a lot of inventive, and that's an Australian company. There's a company that can convert waste plastic to road-ready fuel, an Australian company. The gentleman who identified the way to actually take coffee cups and reuse them is an Australian. So we've actually got cred.